Cass,
What's up?
how does it feel to know you've beaten Vampire Survivor Crawlers?
I feel empty inside.
Before I did.
I mean, I've also beaten Vampire Survivors, but no, Vampire Crawlers, I beat it like maybe 2 hours ago, and I feel empty inside. I feel like my purpose for living has been squandered, and I need to go back.
Like right now, you need to go play more.
Like I'd open it up right now, but I can't. I never even unlocked the mild gem by completing Gallo Tower with Gallo.
The mild gem?
I don't know what it does, man, but I gotta know.
Okay.
Can we back
now I
up?
know there's a mild gem.
Can you guys tell me what this game is?
Chris might be more equipped for this because I don't know how to describe it because I don't play card games.
Okay, well, I don't play card games, but I will take you up on that offer and try here. Nicco, you know Slay the Spire, a game where you go around and cards are given to you, and then you try to combo them and manage your energy each turn. What if that was simpler and you were physically moving around very basic square dungeons while doing it and finding the enemies that way instead of picking on the map of Slay the Spire where you're going? That's kind of Vampire Crawlers. It's a official spin-off of Vampire Survivors. So it has all the base game weapons and characters more or less from that game, just transferred into card form and adapted in interesting ways that pretty much always make sense. You know, there's no like you need to have played Vampire Survivors to play Vampire Crawlers, but if you have, everything's familiar. There's remixes of all the music.
Like in a weird way, it's a remake of base Vampire Survivors with no DLC.
Yeah,
Crazy.
And they just took the game and turned it into a dungeon crawler card game where you draw, I think when you start, it's what, like 3 cards? Pick 3. Yeah.
Pick 3 slots.
You start with 3 cards, and then certain cards, they're like, all right, this will permanently, well, for the rest of the level, the rest of the fight you're in, not the level, will buff your damage by 10%. This will make it so that you throw an extra projectile. And then every card has like a 0 or a 1 or a 2. And then if you play it in order, so you play a 0, all of the 1 cards get highlighted and the effect is doubled. And then it goes up exponentially the higher you get the combo. And then you get wild cards. That's like, all right, so I played a 1, 2, 3 wild, which lets me reset, play any number card that I have. And then if you can keep it going, you can get the multiplier going forever. And then you just reach moments where you have your entire deck in your hands, basically. Which is what I was running into. And so they have systems to go around it where later on, because it starts off where the round ends once you can't play a card. But then you get to bosses where it's like every 5 cards you play, regardless of if it is still your turn, the boss will attack. And so then you got to rethink like, okay, well, it doesn't matter how high of a combo I have. I got to keep, I have to make sure that every 5 cards I draw, I'm managing my armor, I'm managing my stat buffs, I'm managing my health and all that. And it turned out to be a much deeper game than I was expecting.
yes, for sure. There's some ways where I wish it was more complicated, and maybe the dungeon crawling part of the game, actually, where I wish there was like a little more.
It's very simple.
Like I would even have accepted like, oh, you found a hidden passageway in this part by bumping into the wall and you like broke open a new room. Like even stuff like that isn't here. I just wish there was like a little more there, because you get a mini map and very quickly you get a thing that puts everything on the floor on your mini map, so you know.
Yeah, it
like,
just shows you everything that's on the floor.
Yeah, every enemy, every boss, every like healing thing. So you pretty much always know exactly what you're doing all the time very quickly. And I don't dislike that. I'm not like a huge dungeon crawling guy, but I would have liked a little more layered in over time, you know.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's still good. And I think that simplicity makes it really easy to look at you, Nicco, and say like you could definitely play this with no issue, even if you don't think you'll like that part of the game, because it is so mindless, basically. Yeah. So
no, honestly,
it is literally click the number as they go up.
No, that's good. That's like that's appealing in a way. Yeah. You know, that it's not about necessarily the crawling aspect. It's more about like the card aspect. That is much more my speed. The problem actually that I have with playing a game like Slay the Spire is that like it requires a lot of situational awareness. Are we still doing a main episode after this?
Yeah.
No, this is the whole episode.
No, we're still doing an episode.
Okay, yeah, I'll save the rest of this for later, but essentially the idea being that it's too much game and not enough card. And it sounds like the game has like a good amount of card.
Yeah, I'd say so. And it's like whenever you level up or you find a treasure chest, they give you little stat changes or modifiers, whatever, that you can slot into a card. So then the card will have its base effect, and then whatever you throw into it. Like you can make a card a wild card, you can make it free but still take up the mana. You can make it so that it's a reverse, so that if you put it on the 2 card, you play that card, and then the next in that combo goes back down to 1, so that you can like buff out your combo longer. And then it's other stuff like, play this, gives you armor, play this, it gives you health, basic stuff. But then it gets real, I didn't look up anything for the game. I didn't look up like how to make good combos. I just kind of figured it all out on my own. And I'm probably not, super refined with it. But there was that really good feeling of like learning for myself. Oh, hey, if I do this, like if I give this card that has a really good chance of already taking out my enemies, I can throw on like a ×3 multiplier and basically have it be a get out of jail free card if I don't have enough to play the rest of my combo. Just a bunch of stuff like that, where it ended up being just, I said it earlier, but it's just a lot deeper than I was expecting.
Yeah.
That's cool.
It does the Vampire Survivors thing very well. Of you play like a round or two and you're like, okay, I kind of get it. And then you hit that first like break point of like, oh, I just did something or unlocked something that lets me break this open a bit. And then your dopamine, serotonin's like, oh, wait a second. And then from there, it builds and builds and builds and gets crazier and crazier to a point where your screen is literally like pulsing, flashing with the weapons you're doing and combos, and it's just incomprehensible. There's a meta progression thing also, so you can unlock more like slot modifiers for your cards, which lets you do even more. You can unlock overall power-ups, like you can start dungeons with more cards in your hands right away, or you start with your weapons doing more, they have more amount immediately instead of you having to build it up in the dungeon, so you already can have a leg up going in. A whole lot of stuff. Not bad for a $10 game. It's like, I see everyone finishing it after like 20 hours, and I feel like I'm on track for that. Pretty good. If you go
about 23 hours.
Yeah.
So,
if you go by Survivor's precedent,
investment.
there's going to be a lot of free updates and DLC and stuff that'll also be free mostly.
I hope so.
So I wouldn't like count on that buying in, but there's a pretty good chance that this gets supported pretty well too. So for $10, pretty good.
Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I'm gonna say with card games, I feel like it's a little easier to give it a pretty hefty amount of support. Just because a lot of the mechanics are based around.
Yeah. I mean, they could even like, I don't want to say phone it in, but they could just take all the free DLC areas from the other game and all the characters from that and just make them cards and environments here. And that would probably,
like I think that if they took like even taking out the
like the Contra
the
and
crossovers and stuff, like even if you take their base concepts that they made for the DLCs and the original Vampire Survivors, I think that they'd be able to take that into some really crazy places, because Vampire Survivors does this really weird thing where it actually like can create these weirdly cinematic moments with the very limited mechanics that it has, like to do like this very thinly veiled attempt at storytelling. Let's be honest, like it's not super deep, but like whenever it happens, you have this moment of like, oh my god, like there's actually something happening in this game. And it's very strange. You don't expect it from a game that looks like Vampire Survivors, but I think if they could translate that into the dungeon crawler, like I just beat the final boss and I remembered what moment from the original Vampire Survivors that was supposed to be that they're recreating, and it's like it's already taking a moment that felt technically impressive for how small scale that game was, and then putting it into the dungeon crawler was like, I want to see them do more of their ideas. I want to see them translate, especially if they do end up doing the crossovers like Castlevania. That would be superb.
Can't wait to use the Amogus cards, you know? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yo, like
Amogus.
Balatro? Balatro has Amogus
Yeah, dude,
cards.
Balatro is in Vampire Survivors too. Yeah,
There
Yo.
is a Balatro crossover. So
yeah.
actually,
there is a
thinking about it.
Balatro. Yeah,
Sweet.
it's literally the score multiplier that just circles around you and gets bigger and bigger, and it just kills things.
That's awesome. Like that. That's cool.
Pragmatically, Brody,
Yeah.
you've been playing Pragmata, a new release.
God.
That was an amazing segue.
I was gonna offer, in the spirit of what our main topic will be today, I'm gonna offer 3 games, and I can talk about either
Ooh.
one, and I'll leave it at y'all's discretion. So pick 3 between Hades 1, Saros, which Kevin talked about last week, and Wario World.
I picked the one I can put on the
One of
thumbnail
these is
that's
not like the
relevant,
other.
and people will click. I picked George Saros, actually.
All right. Okay.
also picked
Saros was the one
Saros.
I was prepared to talk about.
As much as
that
I want to
works.
hear you talk about the pause screen of Wario World and make you recreate it. but-
Nah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, it's pretty good. So I've been playing Saros now. I have my hands on it. I've been going through it. I've made it to the 3rd biome of what appears to be 5, but could easily be 6, and I would guess 6 based on Returnal.
And you are Returnal's strongest soldier that I know about.
Yes, I really am. I'm Returnal strongest soldier. That and my other friend who play it, we champion this game as the best game on PS5, the best PS5 quote unquote exclusive for whatever that means in 2026. And that is both a good thing and a bad thing when it comes to Saros, in my opinion. Because I had so much fun with Returnal way back in 2021, or whenever it came out. I think that was it. And I can't help but kind of remember so much of my experience with that game when playing Saros, where I'm having an absolute blast with Saros at like a general moment-to-moment gameplay kind of level. But when I start to compare it in my head, because even though it's not a story sequel, it is a sequel to Returnal, and so I feel like the gameplay should reflect that, and if not be just as good, if not better, and it's kind of a little worse so far in what I've gone through.
I've watched
A
Kevin
lot of
play,
that-
and it does seem like a lot of the sicko tendencies have been kind of sanded off, and I don't want to say watered down, but it's been a little more accessibilized, which is probably a good thing. But I think if you wanted Returnal but more and harder or better, it maybe takes a step back, was basically the impression I was getting.
Yeah, I think I can boil it down to 3 main points I have for like what it's kind of missing for me personally. Number 1 is just amount of room variety. And I have heard that the later biomes have more. So I'm excited to get to those and see. But from the first 2 biomes that I've played, and that first one especially, if the idea is if you're doing a full run, you're going to do that first one a lot. I felt like I saw all the rooms really quickly, like within a few runs. I felt like, okay, now I'm seeing all of these rooms in different orders, but this almost feels more like a traditional game where I'm getting good at memorizing a specific part of the game, and it's just the order in which I get served it is different. And like the challenge is overcome this thing we've set to do, as opposed to overcome something that's a little more dynamic and unpredictable. Because the first area and second area both follow the same pattern of go halfway, fight a mini boss in an arena, go the rest of the way, fight the same mini boss again in a different arena, then fight the boss. And I don't know why they did that. It's very confusing. I understand the biomes having the same bosses. Returnal did that. But mini bosses were sort of varied. It wasn't guaranteed that you would see them. And Returnal, so the second thing, which kind of blends with that, is that Returnal had a lot more like choices that you were making moment to moment. where you might go to a room where you could sacrifice like a good portion of your health for some kind of upgrade, or you might find a room that's filled with corrupted upgrades, and it's like, okay, well, I have my pick of the litter of like 10 of these corrupted upgrades, but like they're all going to do something bad to me as well as good, so I'm not going to take them all, but I am going to take maybe like 1 or 2 of them, and I'm making decisions and choices based on my build and what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And then the other thing was dangerous enemy rooms, I guess you would say. Like there were optional rooms marked by a thing that was like, there is a mini boss inside here that could potentially end your run. And that doesn't really exist in Saros. There's no opportunity to say, okay, I'm feeling good about my build, let me go face him, or actually I'm going to not do that on this one, I'm going to just continue. And so a lot of the moment-to-moment choices that are really fun to make in a roguelike are kind of replaced with certainty in a lot of areas where I feel like they shouldn't. It's like taking away. There's a little bit of it, right? There's like a couple rooms where it's the room you enter and the floor starts going down and you have to pick 1 or 2 of the things on the left or the right, and like that exists. But also they just have like pedestals that give you those choices as well, just around as a form of like item reward. And it's just like, it doesn't feel too much. I do like it when it's more diegetic in the form of that room, but it just felt like Returnal had a lot more of those, along with a lot of other things that were also like these diegetically flavored choices. And it made it feel like this alien world was all like one thing. And I don't know. And I think there's also, the idea of doing one biome, finishing it, and then saying, okay, I'm going to start the next biome off the jump. Mm-hmm. And you can't, like, fully string them all together in a way that's, like, how you want, versus Returnal's take on an Act 1, Act 2 structure of there's 3 biomes in a row and then another 3 in a row. I don't know, it just, like, doesn't hit quite as much. But then the third issue, my third major issue with the game is that I think not issue with the game, but, like, in comparison to Returnal, is that I think I really appreciated Celine's solo time loop journey that she was going through, because you would find audio logs of her in like previous time loops, like going crazy, wondering what it would be like to pull off all her fingernails and go like just going insane and then being normal and just having a normal one the entire time. And that was a lot of fun, especially as you figure out the nature of everything in that game. It's really, really cool. I think I liked that a lot more than Saros's like team of 5 people that all hate each other. And it's just kind of like a little
bit of that when Kevin was screen sharing it last night. There's like this crazy painter guy who's like, oh, I figured out the right colors. And he walks over to some like old woman that's like very much has a stick up her butt. I'm like, are these people ever happy? I guess not. I don't have the context for what's going on in this game though, so I'm not going to make a judgment call. It's very funny just watching Raoul Coley or whatever just waltz up to these very grumpy people and be grumpy with them, and I'm like, that's very different than what I just played in Returnal the night before.
Yeah, right. And it's I know your early days in Returnal, so I'm not going to speak too much on that, but the way that story develops is really cool. Obviously, you had mentioned shortly, I think before we started recording, the house that makes you play PT.
Yes, I didn't get to the house that makes you play PT. I poked my head into the second biome. That's where I'm at for your reference, Brody. Not very far.
Okay, yeah. Not very far, but you've been to the house that makes you play PT, and so you've got the story, and it's cool, right? It's like it's interesting. It's like, why is it making me play PT? What's going on? And as you revisit the house and stuff through the game and different runs, and you'll get a lot of cool stuff with that.
I was going to ask if there's an analog for that in Saros, or some kind of equivalent.
Yes, there is. Kind of I've only seen it once so far, but there is kind of an equivalent of that. So I'm curious to see what that does. I'm interested in the story of the world they have set up, and I am interested in the main characters' like progression throughout that story. It's just that everyone else he's interacting with, like genuinely my favorite NPC to interact with in that game is the AI that is explicitly like hyper capitalist satire, like and it's just like he's just an awful thing to talk to, because he's just so like, oh yeah, employee casualties don't matter, only what matters is extracting resources, and it's like he's fun because he's fun to hate. You like to hate him, and the rest of them are just like they're just mean to each other all the time. and it's just a bummer. And I get it, like, it's supposed to be a bummer story, but like Celine's was a bummer story that was interesting and had me like, oh, let me see what's going on there. So yeah, I feel like I'm harping on it too much. I feel like I'm focusing too much on the negatives because they really are just kind of nitpicks that like are getting at me a little bit with like me comparing it to Returnal specifically. But if I'm not doing that, I'm like, yeah, this is like almost as good as Returnal, and I'm still having a really good time because I really like Returnal, so it makes sense I would really like this.
Because the moment to moment seems like so similar that I had to like kind of stop Kevin and be like, so what have they added in the moment to moment? Because it seems like he has a lot of the same abilities, the same kind of move feel. The guns seem kind of similar. I'm sure there's like actual additions, don't get me wrong, but I was like looking for that one, like, this is what makes Saros and not Returnal thing.
Yeah,
and I guess that's the hand stuff.
It's largely the
And
shield, and then yeah, there are new guns and new modifiers on the guns and things like that. Like it is, there is more, I think, variety there, at least as far as I can tell so far. Especially if there continues to be more added as it goes. I'm still, like I said, I'm near the beginning of the third biome, so
Yeah.
I haven't even seen maybe half the game yet. Right? There still could be a lot more that could impress me, and Returnal really impressed me the whole way through, but like also in the later stages. So I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful. Overall, yeah, in terms of unique identity, everything that makes Saros unique from Returnal is kind of the stuff that I'm not really into, right? Where I'm like, I kind of just wanted more Returnal, I guess. I don't know.
There is something to be said. I've definitely had games like that where it's like I attached so much to the original game that even when it came around and made a sequel that was maybe better in some ways, I just wanted the specific aspects of that first thing again. And it made me kind of reject the sequel or follow-up, even though it was doing its own thing and it probably shouldn't do the first thing again. But I just kept going like, I just kind of like the first thing more. It just kind of resonated with me, even in spite of logic sometimes.
That's my perception of both Doom Eternal and Elden Ring, so I understand you guys.
Yeah.
I was about to call you all idiots, and then Buckets came in and then was like, I agree. And I'm like, oh, I'm outnumbered.
Why not? What did I do? I was saying
like
Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, so that probably
I was
going to
use it to go on a tangent about how annoying it is when trying to dissect a media as its own thing, how people always compare it to another thing. But, you know, when it's sequels, it's a little bit more warranted. You know,
Yeah,
it makes sense if you want something to be a sequel and then it's not the thing that you had before. I get it.
Yeah.
And again, like I really do think that the way that I'm talking about it, like I've had this in my head for like the past, week and a half of thinking specifically like, if I'm going to talk about this game, what would I talk about? And I'm like, oh, it's these little kind of things that are just like picking at me just a little bit, right?
Because otherwise it is just like more Returnal, and Returnal seems to be pretty good.
Exactly. Otherwise it's more Returnal, and Returnal's great. And so Saros is great, right? Like if Returnal's a 10 out of 10, Saros is a 9. Like it's not a problem. But it's, little things.
We have a comment from the Golden Bolt in chat who says a good bit of the stuff Brody wants also opens up like immediately after where he is in essence. So you can look forward to that, maybe, Brody.
Maybe. I've gotten to the bit where you can add like good modifiers and bad modifiers, and I gotta experiment with that a little bit.
Yeah.
It would be nice in general to make the game a bit harder, so I'm glad the game lets me do that. It does feel like it's part of the accessibility. I don't think that they made the game easier, but I think that they made it simpler, right? And I think that's what's I like that complexity from Returnal, and I'm just hoping to see that complexity return as I play, right? Returnal as I play. I'm hopeful. I'm not writing it off, right? But if I get to the end of the game and I feel like, whatever the longest possible run through is, because I know you can't do all of the biomes in order. There is like a cutoff for some reason, like part of the way through. But whatever the longest form of run that I can do in that game, once I do that a few times, feel it out, feel like the abilities and stuff that I get and like the choices I'm given, then I think I can make a proper comparison to Returnal, where I've done that so many times. That kind of experience is ingrained. Like the end game is ingrained more than anything. I don't know. I think it could get there. I'm hopeful that it gets there.
I guess to close it out.
So I don't. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I insist. You go ahead.
I was going to say, I guess to close it out, if you look at Returnal and the other major PlayStation games, they update those games quite a bit frequently. Like the first Returnal had like co-op and all this weird stuff added. I could almost see a world where like 6 months from now they drop the Sicko update where you
The
can
sicko mode, yeah.
basically play through like with more Returnal-y kind of choices or
I could see
modifiers.
that. I
Yeah.
could see that, and I would very much welcome that. I think that would be lovely. I think honestly, if I was going to pick like one of those 3 issues to iron out, I think more rooms. Just in general, more types of rooms. Yeah, that's of my 3 issues. That's my pick 3 of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you going to say, Cass?
I don't remember.
Nico, if you had to pick one of the 3 things Cass might have said in response to that.
Yeah, whatever's the most
I
damaging
remember.
to her reputation, for sure. Yeah.
Just like I just one of those, and then I wanted one of these.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, can you believe it? That guy
for
just
the
came out
audience-
and he just doing it all over.
Cass, you can't say that.
I was thinking it, but...
So I'm recording from my actual microphone for the podcast.
Yeah, we
so my
had to
actual
bleep that in
lines are gonna
post.
come out.
Oh. I really wonder what you actually said now because I didn't
Chris,
hear.
you have
Hold
to.
up.
Chris, you have
You're
to.
gonna
bleep
hear
that.
me say the most like tame stuff, and everyone's just freaking out.
You
Robot
have to
Unicorn
bleep that,
Attack
Chris.
is kind of good. Anyway.
No, but what I was gonna say is I don't know what Returnal is, and I don't know what Saros is. What?
Saros
What is
is
it?
the sequel to Returnal, which is
Yeah.
the
Okay.
only
Put
PS5
that in your pipe and smoke it. Dumbass. It's a third-person running gunny shooting game where it's enemies that will blast out like these crazy light show bullet hell kind of
Bullet
vibes
hell.
in the 3D environment, and you're just navigating with like a dash and a dodge, and you're going around and trying not to get hit. Very, very hard, challenging vibes. You know, I don't want to throw out to Dark Souls, but it's like you put this on when you want a challenge kind of shooter game.
It's the Dark Souls of Pick 3.
It has a Soulsian like difficulty progression. I
Soulsian?
would say. Right, like that. Like you enter it the first time and you feel like this is kicking my ass. There's no way I can do this, but like you start seeing the path.
And you got
as
that
you
little
start
bit
going-
in your head that's like, well, I totally could have done that if I didn't do a really stupid thing just there.
Yeah.
Right.
And I don't
And
want
then,
to, this isn't my place to say because I've not played Prime 1, but I feel like Returnal has Prime 1 vibes I hear all the time.
Yeah,
If that would catch your interest.
Returnal is very, very inspired by Metroid Prime. Like I think especially one.
Oh, I'm sold.
I played Returnal first, and then when I went and eventually played Metroid Prime on the remaster, it was so funny because I would enter a room and be like, "Oh, I love this room" when it shows up in Returnal. Like, there's a couple rooms they've taken like basically wholesale from Prime. It feels like
That's crazy.
Nice.
Nico,
What's up?
do you have anything you'd like to talk with us about?
Well, Nine Souls is the PS Plus game for the month. So
Ooh,
I reckon
Plus
it'll
1 returns.
get some clicks.
Plus 1 lives.
Yeah, plus one I mean, I'm the only one who acknowledges plus one days because
we
it's,
love Parry Slap.
It was my producer. It was my producer tag for so long.
It's a series where we review them, so you don't have to.
Yeah. No. Well, so Nine Souls is a fantastic game. I know I've like talked about it before, but I was in the very early stages. I'm more in the middle of the game at this moment in time.
Yeah, if we were to elevator pitch it, which we maybe should have done with Saros for people who don't know, Nine Souls is like hand-drawn 2D Sekiro, basically.
Yeah. Hand-drawn 2D Sekiro. You're a cat. There's horror themes. It's
Some real
it's
body horror stuff in that boss fight I've seen you stuck on.
crazy body horror stuff.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah. You don't expect it when you go into this game, but then they hit you with it pretty early. They hit you with it pretty early on. Yeah. Oh my god. If you like Parry Slop, this game is. It's
I love Parry Slop.
Yeah, like I just love when a game knows exactly when it wants me to hit the button and communicates it clearly.
That's how I
And-
felt playing RE4 for the first time.
Dude,
God.
it's just so nice when it's very clear what a game wants from you and wants of you to bring it to completion. And it essentially is Just
To
that. It's a
completion?
rhythm game. You know, it's a rhythm game. It's press L1 simulator. You know, yeah.
You I know you've been going at that Lady Ethereal boss for a while. Did you manage to beat her?
No, not still going at it.
Yeah, she's a tough one.
I can. Here's the thing, folks. I'll take this platform. I'll take this time to say this. I am fully and wholeheartedly, I'm wholeheartedly over surprise second, and especially surprise third boss phases. I think it's totally fine to have as many phases in the boss as you want, but if you get down to if you finish the health bar out, that is my clear expectation that I'm going in with. I don't like when they put.
You're gonna need to put that behind you at some point.
I think that the world needs to put it behind themselves. Okay, we don't got time for this.
I hate
nice
subverting
lives.
expectations.
Now,
I cannot
people got
stand
lives.
when
People
my
got lives.
expectations
It
are
at least
subverted.
should be like it. At least should be a setting. You should at least like be allowed to put it in a setting. Like, pool the health, please. Just give me the summation of all three of the health bars, and then I will know exactly where I am and exactly how many resources I can use from now through the end of the fight.
I feel like
It
this is
is-
a trick
Bro
I'll let a game
hates
play
being
once.
surprised.
Like I'll let a game do
Yes.
this once.
Right,
you know?
and we've done it, and we've now done it countless times over the course of the
So
genre.
why are you not expecting it?
I usually do. The problem is when you get to a third phase, I'm just like, all right, dude. Like, come on, I have a life. Like, I have like.
I think the third phase is honestly it, right, because the first
Third
time like
phase
a,
is-
like a Bloodborne hits you with a second phase, it's like, oh man, whoa,
Yeah.
and then Souls starts adding, oh, every boss is now getting the second phase, so you start to expect the second phase, which is why when they add in the third phase, it goes back to you not expecting it again, so you're
Yeah, it
back in
keeps
that
you on your
first moment.
toes.
Right, yeah, and it's fun the first time, and it's not fun any time after that. And even then, it's not even fun the first time. Is the first time you do it, you're like, oh my god, thank God, I
You don't
just
have a
beat this
feeling of
boss,
like,
and I can
whoa,
get
the
done. I
boss
can
is
move
still
on
going.
with my life. I'm like, I just beat this boss. I can move on with my life. And then all it hits you with is another animation, a cutscene, and now
Boss
and now
goes to
boom.
Aura Farm for a
It's like
minute.
it's a lot like receiving a plant as a gift, because while it's a nice
First,
gift,
it's like a little green thing, and then like a bloom appears, and you're like, okay, I get it. I can go on with my life now. Then the petal opens up, and I'm like, what the hell, guys?
because while it
Dude,
may
I got
be
this
while it may
jalapeno plant,
appear
and there
to
were
be
no
a
jalapenos,
nice
and then the
gift,
next day there was a jalapeno coming out of it.
while it might appear to be a nice gift on the surface, it is now something you have to deal with and worry about.
more health bars tend to be that way, I suppose. Yeah.
And
seem nice
while
at
it
first,
might,
It's
and then
like
you have to deal
being
with it.
gifted a dog. Like now you gave him a responsibility.
and while it
Do
might,
you feel, Nico? Do you feel that like besides like putting like a literal like because some games will literally put like a tick in the middle of the health bar to kind of indicate like this is where the phase changes, right?
Yeah,
like,
love that.
That happens.
Love
or even
that.
something like in a Borderlands, eventually they just kind of hit like that. You get their health bar down a third of the way. They do a little immunity phase for 10 seconds, then they're on their next. They're on the next phase, right? So it's integrated as one full health bar, but all of that's there.
I can name you a game that has it right. I can name you a game I think has it right,
I've seen it in a few, but yeah, sure.
which is Yakuza. In that the health bar it's a full health bar, but it just is a different color. You get down the full health bar, then you have you got all the way through yellow. Now you have blue.
Yeah, actually, Saros actually does that. Not
Yeah.
in that same way, but
Ultra Kill does
all
that.
of-
Mega Man Zero does that.
I think that
all-
has it right. I think the segmenting the health bar, like the way God of War, the new God of Wars do it, is a little rough for me. I don't love that, but I definitely I like the way Yakuza does it, where it's like a full health bar and then it goes down to another color. It doesn't show you that you've successfully taken like the final health bar until you are at the final health bar.
you
and
know
it
it's
gives you-
coming. You're aware that it's going to
Yeah.
be more.
Right. I just like, I'm data driven in these games. And I think that just it doesn't hit my stim the right way. It doesn't bring me dopamine the same way it does for many people. Yes, Cass?
So serious question, not trying to be mean. What about the idea of you play through the fight, second fight starts unexpectedly, second phase, whoa, you die. Then you come back to the fight, and now you know that there's a second phase. Does it bother you after you figured it out? Like, are you able to enjoy the fight knowing that it is a first phase after
I always enjoy the
fake out?
fight. I always enjoy the
Okay.
fight. It's just generally that, like, I'm just like, come on, bro. Like, this boss fight that I've been stuck on in Nine Souls
How'd you
is
turn
like,
British? That was cool.
what? Oh, anyway,
You went, come on, bro.
come on, bro. No, it's like generally, like, this boss fight that I'm on has been like a really, really good boss fight. Incredibly good boss fight.
I've heard the boss fight you're stuck on, which I was also stuck on for the better part of 2 days.
Yeah.
Like playing straight with those 2
I-
days, pretty much almost, except for when I was sleeping.
Yeah.
Is I have heard the second hardest boss in the game, next to the literal final boss, and I've heard
Yeah.
the final boss is harder than like most things in most Souls games, including the final boss of Sekiro.
I believe it. The thing is, like, once you get used to it, it's fine. I think for me, there are a couple problems with that boss that I don't really have to go here. Like, I think it's too in the weeds, but like, yeah, generally speaking, the idea of the surprise second phase is it never hit me as like an exciting moment. It always hit me as like a, come on, now I have to do this again. Like, now I have to do the whole first phase again and then do it again. Like, I'm just like,
Guy who hates playing video games.
You're like
It just-
Sisyphus and whatever his name is, Sisyphus in the boulder, right? You get, like, the
yeah,
mountain,
exactly.
and it just
He's
bounces
right.
out of your hands, and you're like, "Come on, bro, we just did this, and I got to
Yeah.
walk back down there and pick it back up." This is like being given a plan.
Except it's not.
Yeah,
It's making it to
exactly.
the
It's
top
like
of the
being-
mountain and then finding out you have to do another
Dude.
mountain.
And people who know me know that if you give me a plant as a gift, I will reject it.
That's crazy.
Because I took one time and it died, and I'm like, I can't bring any more life into my custody. At least at this moment in time.
I'm gonna give
But,
you a dog for your birthday.
please do not. That'd be animal abuse on your part. And so basically, right? Like, I'm just like, it just. The surprise hit the first time they did it, the first time in the first Souls game that I played, Bloodborne, right? Like when you get to the second phase, is there a second health bar in Bloodborne? I don't think Bloodborne has a second health bar.
In Bloodborne, there are a few bosses, I believe, that have second phases with
Second
multiple-
phases, but do they have second health bars?
I think so. Yeah, I think it's been a minute.
Statistically, I'm sure it feels likely.
Yeah,
does
there's not like a ton of bosses in that
Either
game
way.
that do have 2 phases.
Yeah.
but the ones that do, I think they have second health bars.
There's like one really good one in Tears of the
Oh
Kingdom
yeah,
I
there
wanna
is one
mention,
really
but this
good
is
one.
spoiler.
Yeah, there's one really good one. Yeah, there's one really good one. When you get to that one in Bloodborne, it's like, oh my god, like, yo, right? But then every single time after that, it's like, all right, like, come on, I have a. I'm just.
Well,
I got plans to take
it's like
care of, man.
Miyamoto's ethos of any game could be someone's first game. Any second phase could be someone's second phase.
Yeah, I know, but like, since I started getting better at video games and like looking fewer things up as I'm playing them, it has made that a particular pain point for me.
Now in something like
shouldn't-
obviously you're referring to in Nine Souls this boss having a third health bar, but generally speaking, outside of that, all of the bosses have 2, but it's pretty consistent. Like, unless it's a mini boss, then it's just 1. But it's pretty consistent. All of the main story bosses have 2. So I would think know going into any of those bosses that there is going to be a second. Right?
That's what I was
'Cause
gonna ask.
I don't think there's any that don't do that.
No, you're right. Like, and that's fair, but it's.
Like, at this point, the
I
game
just
should have trained
But
you
then
to
at that
expect
point,
it.
if you're gonna do it on every boss, just give me 1 health bar. Like, at that point, like at this point, we are now inflating health bar values.
I'm
And
not
we
going
do
to
not.
say I disagree.
We don't need
Does
health
nine-
bar inflation. They could
does
go from
nine's-
like. Sorry.
I was just going to ask for my own reference. Does Nine Souls present in such a way where you clear the first health bar and then that's like an entire phase shift and then the boss patterns change and the way the fight happens changes? Or is it just like it's the first phase, now it's the same but harder?
Depends on the phase, depends on the fight. For the most part, it's the first. Sometimes it's the second.
More moves get added in. They might still use some of their first phase moves, but now there's more moves and they might attack faster. And
I see. Because if it was like, oh, the arena you're in destroys and you fall through to a new thing and like now the fight's different, that's
sometimes
like
that happens. Sometimes
indication,
that happens.
But I see it's a little inconsistent.
Sometimes that happens.
It's
Other
like
times,
sometimes a guy goes into his pod and transforms, and now he's a big monster.
yeah,
Classic.
like they do a lot of things, a lot of gimmicks in the
I will
second
say-
half of all of these. It's always something.
Nine Souls really likes to have the boss's aura farm between phases.
Yeah, they do aura farm pretty heavily, and that's the other thing too, is that it takes up like cutscene time more or less, and you can't like skip it. It's not like a skippable thing.
Yeah,
So it's just between the phases.
They're not
Yeah.
the slowest, but they're also
They're not the slowest. They're not the fastest, though. It breaks up my flow of the fight. I feel a lot of the time that I'm just like I was vibing. I was in my flow state, and then I'll hit the end of the first health bar or the second health bar, and now I'm all of a sudden my flow is broken. My rhythm is
Although
broken.
some of those bosses are so aggressive that like that phase change is the only chance you have to heal. So that almost feels built in some cases.
Yeah, I mean, I just wish they gave you. I just wish it was summed down to one health.
But you like it overall, though.
Love it. It's great. Highly recommend it. Love everything about it except for this one nitpick, which is like, I know I'm making a big deal out of it for jokes, but like it is a nit, very much so.
I see.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. It's a wider problem in every Souls game. Like I would say, as of late.
And I've just been sitting over here like I kind of want to bring a plant into my home lately. But
Hey man, different strokes for different folks. I get it. You know,
I like the plants that like hang from the ceiling that looking like they're wrapped up like a person.
yeah, I love those. You like high five them when you come into the room.